What is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. We're live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern, crypto in the morning, with my co-host Sam Stolt and my producer Bullish Ox. Let's get it. Today, the episode is called something stupid, funny. What is it? Pulsechain rug, guys. No, I want to be serious about this for a second because getting serious thoughts out of my head doesn't occur very frequently when people are talking and chatting and all that stuff. So my serious thoughts on Pulsechain for real is I don't give a rat's ass, like I never have, because I didn't put more money than I was willing to lose into Pulsechain, whether that was 10 grand, 6 grand, 100 grand, 50,000, a billion, whatever bracket you're in. When you over leverage yourself in a position because you want to get really wealthy, but everyone's also telling you the position does a 45x almost by definition, you need to chill. You need to relax because me and Sam are bodybuilder kind of guys that like to wait really long times and do things over and over and over and over and over and over and over until we get them right. And I just like to chill. I like when people dump their bags. I like when people waste time and just move, like it just makes the more fertile market for me, probably. But I'm not gonna tell everyone that I don't think anything is changing. My personal opinion, Richard Hart is trying to keep up with the evolving crypto just like everyone else. And it's not pretty for everyone. It's not pretty for me. It's not pretty for anyone. It may be fun because I don't have much responsibility. But like for him, there's lots of responsibility and I could feel it and I could see it. And I don't want to bother him and hurt us by trying to be like, this is going to zero, because really he did not force you to give him money. He didn't. He like legit didn't. He was just like, this is probably going to be dope. And you guys just are a little too much sometimes. But again, you'll probably make out awesome, everything like that. But patience, guys. Find a hobby, get your body in the way. I need to get my body back in shape, hardcore. I want to get pumped up. I want to step up. I don't want to let the world just like do its way with me with the narrative, okay? I'm not doing that crap. I'm going to try and be as unbiased as I can. And I truthfully believe that Richard's a smart man and a good man, and he's under a lot of stress. That is frankly what I believe. And I don't dislike the guy. I don't know him really, but he's just a dude. If you micromanaged my life and looked at everything, you would be horrified at some of the weird things that I'm not great at. I suck at some stuff, dude. And I don't like to communicate some stuff. I like to hide sometimes. No one's perfect. But I just want everyone to be calm. And I'm not here to bring emotional turmoil to crypto. Not really my style. Yeah, it's fun on occasion. We're not fighting Pulsechain, bro. We're not. We're just joking. But we're going to talk about it for real. Guys, crypto in the morning, every single day. Life is tough, guys. Be easy with everyone. Just try to be easy on people. Everyone, including Richard, be easy on people too. Like Richard unfollowed me because I was covering shit. But, I'm not going to hate on him about it. It's just who gives a shit. I just want everyone to be chill. Because I'm starting to feel stress in the space. I don't like it. I want to be chill skis so I can feel good. All right, guys.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some hydro, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. DeFi Pro, yeah. Crypto in the morning. 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 Crypto in the morning.
You're there. Morning, sir. That was a good monologue. I think sometimes when I come across and maybe they say things about Richard Hart or Pulse, and I see Brizology's comment there. I think that sometimes I can come across as maybe abrasive, but I truly do believe that Pulse is going to be dope, and that Richard Hart is trying to do the right thing from a security standpoint, from like moving forward. Yes, he's like focused on shit that's not like stuff that's important to me or that I'm focusing on. But everybody's on their journey in a different way, right? And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just he's trying to do what he's trying to do to move forward in ways that he feels is appropriate.
Yeah, like what if he gets over this girl thing and like in a year he's like, you know what, that was fun, but like now I'm ready to step up and do like others or whatever. It's like I get into shit too that's not necessarily the best in the world for me. But in general, people make a larger deal out of it than what it really looks like in real life. And like sometimes I make a bigger deal out of it too, just for the sake of people being distracted or marketing, you could call it, or bragging. But to be honest, nobody cares about it. There's literally no one in this world that matters none that cares about that kind of shit. Like I don't care what anyone says. I've never seen one. Or
and like in all reality, like with the updates that I heard the other day, that was exactly what I was. Given that there's going to be more validators, is something that's I would like to see. I don't want another Binance 2.0 that we just call, instead of Binance 2.0, we call Pulsechain, because I don't want my shit to get shut off. Right. It doesn't seem super particularly awesome for me.
Dude, I don't even give a shit. I'm starting to not give a shit. Dude, this is like almost like I don't want to get my shit shut off. Yeah, but Richard could do what. Now we're under the impression that it's like, okay, so centralization and whatever. You know, the whole time people say, why is Pulse better? Why are people going to use Pulse? It's the community, bro. Like, I'm so done with this shit. It's the community. Yes, it's going to have cooler buttons and it's all out there, guys. Pancake swap, everything. Blah, blah, blah.
What do you think? Do you think, because you pay attention to Richard Hart's stuff for longer and more closely than I do, but like it is about the community, but at the same time, say Pulse launches in a year from today, right? Which 100% possible, right? So say if it launches next year at some point, and because of what is in place now with 2.0 on Ethereum, they're able to get to sharding next year, right? Super unlikely.
No fucking way. No, I've watched so much Vitalik, dude. He makes it seem like 4 or 5 years. Literally, like he literally pulls out a sheet and he's like, it's the third thing on the sheet, and it's like 24 and a half.
Okay, so say it's 24 months. Say it's 36
24 months. Okay, that feels way better.
Or 36 or something. Say it's a ways out, right? So what is going to differentiate? What do you think? You know how, do you ever watch those Steve Jobs old releases of iPhones? And we got something else, right? And he does. Elon Musk does this pretty well, or he used to do it pretty well when they would be bringing out the Model 3. And one more thing, and they'll do something like that. Do you think Richard Hart is going to do something like this for Pulse to try to differentiate it, to make it even better?
I know exactly. Richard Hart is going to do the most important thing in crypto. And he's going to make sure no one loses their shit. And no one else can do it except Ethereum right now. And he's going to try for that first, because that's where he can really be like, no one's gotten hurt. That's everything in crypto. It really, really is. Hex has never effed anyone over completely that understood what was going on. Period. It does exactly what it said it did when I signed up. And it's just, in that you cannot say for everything.
I agree. I was having a conversation this morning with somebody that I used to do business with. And he was like, I told him about the merge, right? And you can get free coins. And he's like, oh, I had my stuff in Coinbase at the merge. And I was like, well, you just fucked up there. But then he goes on to say that I was swapping to Solana. But to get back to your point, right? Solana has a I don't even know what their POV is on things, but it says they're going to do this, but then the network goes down perpetually. And what you're saying with Hex.
And then what happens? Really intellectuals just say, you know what? I love tech and I don't care about ego that much, but I cannot have my shit go down.
Right.
You, for example, like you're just like, dude, I can't go for a walk and be like, what's going to go down with my shit? That's not good. I've never experienced that my whole entire life. I've never been on centralized exchange or anything for more than 5 seconds, like ever. And that is because of Richard Hart. Like he taught me that right away.
So do you think that through that process, so one of the things that I followed with Elon Musk is like by going to Mars and having the goal be Mars, you target here, but because you target here, you're able to see things that people who are just wanting to go to the moon can't see because you're looking at things differently. And do you think that this could be the place that the thing that happens with Pulse, because what you're saying, security, like I want my shit to work. And I want it to work all the time. And I don't want anybody to be able to fuck with my shit.
And I frankly don't care if it's $1 or a penny. I don't give a fuck. As long as I can make my transactions properly. I don't really do as much as people think. Maybe when something comes out, I get a little excited. And so does everyone. But let's be honest. It's chill. But I mean, I can't have $50, $30, $20 fees. But like, let's be honest. On the worst day ever, if I'm having $12 fees, like I'll take it. I don't care. I don't. But on most days, if I have under $1 fees, and the consensus has been switched. So now I'm kind of like, ugh, because the fee thing, which I'm experiencing on Ethereum POW, I have done probably 1,000 transactions at this point, spent virtually no dollars. So, and it's incredibly orgasmic feeling in my stomach every time I feel it. I do it every time.
When he comes out with Pulse, right, and it's the security, the uptime, the no bugs and all that crap, right, because there's surely going to be there's going to be people looking to F him over, right, but there's also going to be people who just want to make money. I think that by focusing on that, it might provide other features just because of that, because of you're focusing on something with a laser focus. It's like people who create an avatar for their business. It's like, I'm selling to Sally, Jones. She's, 36 years old. She lives in a suburban neighborhood. She likes this type of thing. Once you pick that focus, then other people, because you have principles around whatever that is, seem to gravitate towards it. And that's how I think about the features. Like if you're focusing on security, right? Because he's mentioned this multiple times, and that's like security, and I don't want anybody to get fucked over. That's probably going to provide other types of benefits that we can't see yet. We don't understand.
Yeah, but Richard's also like when things are bull, people forget about everything. And he's done this so many times now. He's just eating it, dude. Like, but he's not doing it gracefully, to be honest. Like, super gracefully, frankly. He's a little immature with it, but he's not a young dude, but he's a single dude. You know what I mean? If he was 28, everyone would be like, classic. But again, he also said, I played video games for 10 years, and he probably did business for another 10 years in his room or in his basement or in his whatever place he was working. I frankly smoked marijuana and did whatever I wanted for 15 years straight. And I have no urge or desire to, have, whatever weird things that adult people like to do when they're single. And, I'm not super into it right now, frankly, but I've done an enormous amount of fucking off.
Bro, even today. So here, that's something that's universal. That it's not related to Pulsechain, but I think we should touch on this for a second. Like I do a lot of stuff. I have multiple businesses, and the amount of time where I feel that I'm not accomplishing what I want to accomplish, or that I'm not taking the action. And yet version today is 1,000 times stronger than it was last year this time.
Yeah, but maybe imagine if you didn't get locked up, for example, and you went on being an idiot for 3 more years. 3 more years, you just were like out of trouble, being whatever you were doing at the time, being a jerk off, talking to chicks, doing this, doing that, not really being accountable. And then that can last longer depending on the situation. Me and you both had situations that was kind of like, hey, kid, you're going to get perma-wrecked if you're an asshole anymore. And we were like, okay, we'll just go to work. Like, fuck it. And then, so you know what I mean? So, but Richard also was retired at 28 years old, which I can't relate to. Well, I don't know what retired means, but he probably had a lot more money than me. But he was probably doing business too. But frankly, he probably made a lot of wealth before I did, genuinely, because he's rather intelligent and smart and savvy. Like, and that's why he's in the position he's in now. I don't hate on the guy for living his life, but I do hate on him a little bit for kind of duping the guys like me who were like, you were freedom fighting 24/7 when I found you. You were like intellectually dive bombing everyone. You were challenging everyone. You wanted challenge from everyone. And then you kind of now are just reverting back to being stressed out, which I get. Like, I would do probably similar. I wouldn't say any of the weird things that he says, but I would just not say anything. Probably personally, that's how I am. I just wouldn't say shit and just eat it. But again, it's hard. This is a dynamic. Cryptocurrency is dynamic, and people are like, oh, Richard's just copying and pasting the code and now he has to do this. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that is what it is. But that's what everything fucking is. That's what YouTube channels are. I just copy and paste it. Other people have done YouTube channels. You know what I mean?
That's what business is. And
Like it's just a copy and paste, and who does it better and who's safe and who has better customer service and better people around the area. So I just want everyone that's in here, like, you're going to see bullcrap all over the internet. Don't buy into it. If you see people screaming at the top of their lungs with no detail, with no anything, flashing stuff in front of your face, trying to make you like about Zen, for example, like no one spent that much money on Zen at all, but every Hexican wants it to go to zero forever, even though Hex dropped 90% right off the jump. Richard told everyone they'll never compare and contrast anything properly. They won't look at the minting phase. They won't look at how the distribution per day on each chain. They won't look at anything, but it's okay. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't have to be like, oh no, my life sucks because I spent $200 on a free mint, told everyone how to do it for free, and was super open-minded about it. No, I'm cool because of that. I'm awesome because of that. That's how I feel about that.
What are you most excited about, Pulse? Is it your sacrifice having 100x, right? Because and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, don't like fish up some other answer if that's like not the truth or whatever. But
it would probably be the returns on like. Well, I'm most excited to get a position in P Hex early because I never got to get a chance to get in Hex early. And as you know, the lion's share, and Richard said this verbatim, word for word, the lion's share of Hex USD gains are made from people that purchased in the first year. And that's okay. Like, that's okay. A year's a long time. That is a long time, frankly. Like 365 days. Like, if you're watching crypto, you'll probably run into it. So, and I didn't, frankly, but I was close. So knowing that, it's like, damn it, what was it? Oh yeah, I want to buy the bottom because there's going to be a lot of active liquidity when these things come out. And I'm going to have a lot of active US dollar ready to shark and stick and stay. Like that, those are like 5 buys. I probably won't do many more for, like, you know, I DCA over time, but.
One of the things that and this is a little bit of tangent, but thinking about like what I'm excited about with Pulse and PulseX, I know this isn't going to happen, but I think it would be really cool if, you know, the 25%, it could change with what he was talking about yesterday, the day before, but there's a buy and burn on PulseX. So if you go from, you know, Hex to Pulse, right? You pay the fee in Hex, and then that fee is taken and it is swapped for PulseX and is burnt, right? Now, I think that this would be cool if it took more of a BNB pot type of approach. What if by owning PulseX, all the tokens that are traded, the scam tokens, all of them are automatic. The fees that are generated by the system state are automatically swapped to PulseX. And then that PulseX is distributed instead of burnt. It is distributed to the people who hold the tokens instead of burning it. I think that would create more excitement. I would personally have a bigger impact, right? If you're like, oh, so, some fucking, sorry, somebody was saying something about the word F right in the chat, but there's just, so say some small town in some little area in nowhere, right, has something happen to them. There's no direct impact on us, right? I live in the East Coast, right? But if it's on the West Coast or somewhere else, who really gives a shit? There's no impact on my life, right? But having PulseX, and if I got distributions from how successful that was, oh my God, then you're basically creating the dividend model of a stock in the legacy market. I love that model because it creates more buy-in for the individuals. If you're holding a token and based upon the success of the token, you get a distribution of what the protocol makes, that's just very unique and very novel, like how BNB P is approaching it. And imagine if that was the case with PulseX. That would be absolutely tremendous for the holders of this, right? And I also think, and I think this is, I don't know, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. I think that PulseX would probably be more successful from the standpoint of like Hex, and this is controversial. I don't know, if instead of him collecting all the fees, right, because he gets a portion of the fees, if those fees went out to the system of the people who held it the longest,
I think
or
it's
something.
just again like we go back to it working, right? Like things can happen afterwards, and legislation also changes. But making a whole lot of innovation for launch, maybe not the greatest like of the great moves as far as the other moves he could do. Like, dude, people just want to. What do people actually want? Richard's been saying this loud and clear for a long time. They want mad flipping gains, and they want it now. And if you provide that to people for real, they will love you for like 3.5 years. Like literally, like they'll love you no matter what, because you truthfully made a huge impact in their life. And that's why you see some Hexicans that are wild, man. They got in there early, but it is a great product.
I agree. I think though, people want mad gains, right? Why do they want mad gains? So that they can purchase stuff, right? But also the freedom that comes with owning a lot
of these guys are freedom guys. A lot of them live in trailers and have a bunch of money. Like, you know what I mean? They're not all like Richard. Like a lot of us are just, Richard's like the extrapolation of like the one who made the most money of like the normal dudes, maybe. But like most dudes just want like 800 grand in their debit card account so they can make sure they never have to deal with like life shit, and then like couple million all around the jaunt, some cash.
So think about this though. You believe this to be true? I think that when you provide value to a new area or a new way of doing something to the marketplace, you're rewarded as long as it's not garbage, right? Or as long as you're not trying to scam people. If I'm providing value to a marketplace that has never received value in the way that I'm providing it, I'm going to get an exorbitant amount of reward from doing that. Whether my thing is super successful, I'm making a shitload of money, I'm getting fame. Like there's many different ways that can play out. If you look at protocols to date versus like how legacy finance works, there's like a buy my shit and hope the price goes up. But what if, right, there's 117 people watching, and I have something called the minimum burn rate. So that's how much money do you need to live your life how you want to live your life, right? Like today, right now, I probably need around $4,800 to live how I want to, right? Like I drive a Tesla, right? So I'm not saying that you should do any of the things that I do, but like that's the choices that I made, and I spend about $4,800 a month. So $4,800 a month. Now think about this from a crypto standpoint. What people really want is the freedom to have all their bills paid and not have to work, to have the freedom of their time, to spend their time with who they want to spend their time with,
and to work the way they want to. Because truthfully, the more men want to actually work doing what they want than you would assume. Like there are a lot of guys that they're like, hey, I have a hobby. I would love to do it full time, but I just cannot see that occurring. But it's really just as easy as switching.
Remind me about the work thing and men working in just a second. So, but now think about changing the model in crypto so that the protocol success, what the fee earns, instead of it all going to the founders, right? Because of like what's happened with how it's structured with Zen, right? He's not taking anything. He's not getting a VIG on the whole thing, right? But having all of the fees earned by a protocol going distributed out automatically as an airdrop to people's tokens. So that way somebody could buy enough of this token so that they generate $5,000 of free airdrops in their wallet every single month while they still own their shit every single month. And they just get this income that they have so that they can pay all of their bills. I don't know. I think this is a very unique approach. I really, really like this approach.
Yeah, I try to tell people. I'm like, everyone's like, "Oh, you're such a wrecked plan." Blah, blah, blah. Like that's all they all say the same thing. It's like, go to work, go listen to your wife, go buy shit for your kids, and then go to sleep, and then go do it again while I sit here do jack shit and work hard all day long. So I could do whatever I want. That's all I wanted initially. That was my initial goal, was to be able to chill, work, not stress about money. Maybe took a little shorter than I would have assumed, but I also spent a lot less money than I would have assumed. I didn't really know about cutting out all your shit. Like I was tired working. I wasn't cutting out nothing. I wanted all the stuff. When I got home, man, I was so tired. I worked out too hard. I worked way too hard. And I came home, studied crypto, and was just like brain dead all day. But I was still getting some of the info. But again, I wasn't sharp. I wasn't critical with any decisions I was making. It was just like work out, sleep. It was just but that's what I was doing at the time. And I evolved into saying, this is not efficient enough for me personally. But again, it comes with stress too. This is stressful shit. People say horrible things to me. Not that I really care, but people get involved, like relationships, my emotions, life. And it's just it's a lot, What's up, Jerry? What's up, Clean? What's up, Zen Hexagon? What's up, Christian? Is it Christian or Christian?
I think it's just Christian.
Yeah, my bad. I keep saying that. Different. I don't know why I thought it was Christine.
What Christian? Yeah. So
sorry, guys. It's Sunday. I had a long night, guys. Sorry if I sound stupid.
No, you're good, bro. So I had a question for you about work and men, right? What you just said a moment ago that you're like more men actually want to work than what the idea is out there. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I completely agree with that.
Well, I think if you give most men freedom, they'd be surprised with what they would do on the other side. And they would realize it's not as scary as they would think, and realize that doing what you love is always more efficient than doing what you're doing for someone else generally. So you could probably work about 66% of the effort and impact the world 500 times more. If you're just doing something that directly stimulates your brain, might not always be the most effective thing. Yeah, sure, I could maybe talk about Shiba Inu and I would get more whatever. It's not always, I like hacks. I like immutable smart contracts. I like DeFi. So that's what I'm doing. But again, there's people out there doing stuff that are really popular that are trading pictures of donkeys or whatever, and they're successful. So it's just, but people want to work. Men are inspired. Men can do a lot when they are leadership roles, if that's what they want. Not everyone wants that. Some people just want to play video games, clock in and clock out, or whatever. Do whatever the hell you want. But for the guys that are itching in their soul to really make something happen, do something, they're eventually going to make that happen one way or the other, or be extremely, depressed long-term.
I think I put myself in my shoes when I'm older, right? And I think that when I look at myself and I look back at my life, I'm going to appreciate the ability I had to do something that was interesting to me to create the impact that I saw I wanted to create in the world. And yet so many people go through and live their life in a way where they don't focus on that, right? They focus on paying their bills or buying TVs and all this other garbage. And they're not focused on other stuff. I think that we're going through this massive awakening globally where that is becoming more common, but it's still the minority at this point. And we're early on this train of both crypto, but also people doing things that are interesting to them, because you can create more impact. You can impact the world at 5x the rate you could if you spend your life in terms of energy that you expand every day doing something that's interesting to you versus doing whatever it is that you're doing that you're not happy with, you're not fulfilled with, you're not engaged with, you're not interested in. And maybe it's just taking joy in understanding the intricate details of what you are doing is the first step that allows you to get to the next
But
step.
no one's done that on any other steps. That's what they run into. You've never been in a bind. You've never had to fight your way out of something to the point where you didn't know if you were going to make it out on the other end of it. Like, you just don't. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you have to just keep going, and some guys just aren't willing to go down that path. I do not know where I'm going to end up in 2 years. Yeah, I have a vision and like little goals and like big goals, but like, let's be real. I don't know what the hell is going to happen in the next 2 years, nor do I give a flying fuck, because I'm here for the war, man. Like, I don't want to miss it. I don't like missing the hard parts. I don't like missing the parts where people squeal out. I want to see what I am compared to other men. And frankly, it's easy to stand apart if you're emotionally fit. If you're an emotionally fit person, you will shine. But you will also create a lot of negative energy around you because people will not like it. They don't like it. But you choose to listen to that bullshit or not. You can a little bit here and there, of course, it'll get to you, but like, if you have to be emotionally fit.
And once as you continue on that journey of being emotionally fit, so that you choose your emotions, how you want to respond to shit, as time goes on, you build a community of people, like-minded friends, acquaintances, relationships with people. And it's the same thing with the people in your family, right? Like, there's people in my family who don't hold that. They're not in how I see the world is that they're not emotionally fit in the same way that I am. I love them. I support them, but I don't need to talk to those people because I don't need that fucking shit in my life. Right?
Yeah, but if you do find someone that is emotionally fit, like, for example, like, my mother would probably be considered more emotionally fit than I would say, because she's just seen a lot. She's not she likes the world her way, and she's just going to pretend like things are great, and whether they're not or great, she likes to positive framing and family, and that's her style. And I'm not like that. I'm like, I want war. I want to smack someone in the head. I want to get to and that's not her style. Or she's my mother. She has a bunch of kids. So it's like, but I like her advice, but I think of it as she wants to protect me. But like, I like protection too. Like, some things I'm not aware of everything. Like, you know what I mean? So like, when I talk to my parents, like, I take it with a grain of salt, but generally, like, they're happy as shit most of the time. Like, for real, like, real happy. Like, and they're not right about everything or wrong about everything, but like, both of my parents, truthfully, I'm not saying they don't go crazy on occasion, but like, generally they're pretty happy people. Like, I don't see much of it, frankly. And
when you see your parents together, can you see that they're happy with each other and stuff like that? Or is it, yeah?
Well, they're enjoying each other's company for sure. They would rather be with each other if they had spare time than not.
Okay, that's cool.
You know what I mean? Like, if they had an hour. Now, my dad is an ADD guy. Like, he wants to play on his phone too and F around a little bit, watch a movie, pass out. But like, they'd rather do it talking, chit-chatting next to each other, which is nice. That's awesome. But again, I'm not super emotionally fit as far as relationships and communication with like women, and like there's parts of my life that I still struggle with. But with men, I'm pretty good. Like, I'm pretty honest with my guys, and I try to be straightforward, and I'm better in a lot of ways than most, but I struggle a lot with a lot of life stuff, and it's no different than anyone else. It's just like, you just want to be, if you are a good person and you try to help people, life will provide you with very awesome things. I promise you. It's so true. I thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. it's not bullshit. It's like if you really put in effort and value into the world and try to make people's lives better individually, your life will in turn become better, but you also hold a little bit more responsibility along the way. And how you take that responsibility is where like the moment happens. Like
that responsibility is valuable, because what is responsibility? It is the control over other people. People are placing responsibility in you to be the leader, to take responsibility of, maybe it's the finances, maybe it's being the leader in the relationship. So if somebody is butting heads, you're the person who turns around and takes a deep breath, says, hey, baby, I'm sorry, I could have handled that better. And I don't even like saying sorry. So when I do it, I don't even say I'm sorry. I'm just like, hey, baby, I could have handled that better. And I know that this is an opportunity for me to better communicate whenever we talk about this thing. I learned that this is the area, blah, blah, blah. And I see that this is what you're talking about, being that person. Maybe it's, and having that responsibility is gold. That is valuable. It is very valuable.
Yeah, and it's nice to use it properly. And the cool thing about crypto is if you make money in crypto, like doing LP and staking, and like you have like a good like DCA plan, like you can impact the world a lot by sitting here and valuing people. People send me money sometimes, but I don't really ask for it, frankly. But it's like, it's enough. Like, it's cool. This is cool. This is a good place to start, and this is a good place for me to figure out if I want to make the world a better place or if I want to do something else. Like, because I don't have to do this either, like, I think about that too sometimes. Not that I wouldn't want to like, be on Twitter and like talk and shit, but like long term, like this is a lot of work. It's a lot of emotional stress. I got a lot of plans I got to make about it. I'll probably go through with most of them, but like, it is still my life. And it is still, frankly, there is collateral damage that comes with it. And it's stressful. I didn't really expect all of that, but yeah, it's minimal.
It is. Oh man, this is a good conversation. I'm seeing the chat over here. I wanted to go through on some of these because
read some stuff for
there's some longer. A lot of times if we're paying attention to talking and then you see the chat and it's more than just emojis, people have thoughts like there's a connection there in some way to the point where somebody had the urge to type something out, whether on their phone or the computer. So let's take a second. Clean Horizon. I'm always willing to give an ear to someone who needs it. When you give your friends, family, community, you just get all of it back 10x. Yes. And coming from like the love of your heart, right? Think when you do things that are authentic to providing value without the expectation of getting shit returned, beautiful things happen. Like shit comes back.
Yeah, no, people reach out, people want to help you. There's guys in my DMs that have a bunch of money that are like, dude, if you ever run out of money, you call me. And I'm like, why? Like, really? And they're like, yeah, like I have a lot more than you and I would give you some. And I'm like, why? Like, I get it, but like, why would you even bother? And they're like, because I appreciate what you're doing and I want you to continue. It's like, oh, okay. Like, but that would be like, not super, me. I hate when people give me money. Why? Because it puts leverage on me. I hate people having leverage on me. I hate it. Generally, if someone gives me money, I'm like, I usually end up like 5 or 6 times being like, bro, I'll send you this bag if this shit's gonna fuck with shit. Like, I don't care. I don't need it. It's sitting on the computer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's, but again, that's just me. Like, that's just where I'm at personally.
It's literally I do the same thing. And I use the analogy of like, if I was like, yo, can you pick me up from the airport? Right. And you're like, yeah, sure. No problem. Or so you take the time out of your day and you drive to the airport and then you drop me off. There's a leverage there. There's a cost right now. If you're a man, right, you have like a debt there to the other person, right? In the form of like, they just took time out of their day, drove to the airport, picked you up, drove you home. Now I'm obligated mentally to be like, I don't like that obligation. The same as what GRC was just saying. I don't ever want to have people have leverage on me. And that's why I'm always striving to create more impact in everything that I'm do from providing value.
Yeah, I'm so afraid people are gonna be like for real, like post something on me or like do something like people could say all they want, call me narcissistic, call me an idiot, call me wrecked, like all that stuff's fine. But when it comes to like, they're all like, you have to take responsibility for the things that you shill. And I said, well, why don't you post them below? And then, of course, no, or why don't you come on the show and talk to Jack one on one? No, no one wants to do that. I gave everyone the opportunity, all those really smart guys that know so much about everything that's going on. I asked all of them to come on with Jack one on one, and it's not a shill. I want to talk. You know me, I'll get right into it. And so will Jack. But they don't know what the F they're talking about. And they're just shilling their reputation because they over leveraged onto some one piece and they're doubling down. But what do? I'll cover everything with detail and precision, and we'll move through it like gentlemen. And we will not over leverage and we will not do anything wild unless someone wants to do something crazy. That's on them. But that's not how you really do a show. Like you can tell people what you're doing, but you're not really supposed to be. Like, I don't think anyone should be buying Zen on the market. I said that every single day for the last fucking, and that's obvious if you have a fucking brain. Well,
Yes, but
sorry.
no, I completely agree. There's somebody in this community that has a YouTube channel and a Twitter who has some followers and was criticizing Zen and was thinking that I'm doing a bad thing. So I was like, cool, that's awesome. That's what your story is. Come have a conversation, right? And they just don't want to have a conversation because having those deep conversations or just like understanding that there's like you don't need to like be abrasive in one manner. Like you can have a conversation with somebody even if you don't agree with them, and through that conversation you can become a better person, a better version. And that's maybe it's literally to be like, oh, okay, I understood this more. I understand how they could see it. Still don't agree. Still not going to put any money in there or whatever the case is. But there's so many people who just don't want to do those things in life, right? They just don't want to have those difficult conversations. And it's not even difficult, right? Like the good thing that happened out of like the 2020 and like the stealing of the election was that a lot of people have been told their entire life to not talk about politics. And what did this do? It created animosity, right? Between family members for stupid shit. And because of the fraud, people opened up conversations that they never would have had before. And that happened all across America, all around the world, right? Because everybody saw there was a fraud, right? Everybody with half a brain could figure that shit out. And it started new dialogue. It started waking more and more people up. And that's where we're at in this journey. That's why I say we're going through a global awakening because more people are having these conversations around things.
Right. And, to be honest, sometimes the CEO of a centralized exchange doesn't want to have the talks about the bot arbitrage that goes on in between, like it's just not, I want to have that conversation, but frankly, the guy who owns the shit won't. And I'm not super friendly when it comes to I'm not super shilly. Like, I don't like to say just like, I do one thing all the time, no matter what. And I don't really care if you know what's going on or not. Not really what I want to put into the world. I would, at this point, at least, who knows? Maybe one day I'll be shilling some bullshit. But I hope not.
You won't be.
I don't want that pressure yet. I don't want any kind of, I would need to invent something absolutely amazing. And it would take, I would need a team and a long time and all that shit. So again, it's a lot of stress. He's been in the game for 15 years. I don't care that he doesn't want to interact with me on Twitter. Frankly, it probably doesn't benefit him at all that I interact with him. So, and that's what he says. I only interact with RH Maxis. Just because he says he's not a maximalist and all that shit doesn't mean he can't Twitter the way he wants. He can Twitter the way he would like. And I posted the BNBP chart, and he mentioned that he unfollowed me because of the BNBP chart. Super bullish chart, by the way. Super awesome founder, super great project, building on his, totally transition, changing the game as far as the staking rewards and DeFi. And, but nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck.
But doesn't Richard Hart talk shit about maximalists, and then literally the behavior
If it benefits him, he didn't have Hex when he was doing that shit, to be quite frank.
Mm-hmm.
So
now
like,
there's a bias.
Exactly. But like, it still like makes sense because there's really not that much good shit. So it's kind of like, I get it. I totally get it. It makes sense as a part of like risk reward for him just to like, because if people are big enough losers to really care if Richard unfollows them or follows them, and that really puts him in a weird spot, Richard probably wouldn't give a fuck anyway. So it's like, why? I'm not used to Twitter shit. So like, it's hard for me to be like, oh, fuck. Like, I just can't, like, I'm like, oh, damn. Everyone's like texting me, asking me if I'm all right. I'm like, I hope he's all right. I love this shit. Why do you, like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Nothing's changed. Yeah.
But it's all good. It's all good, guys. But like, I think everything's going well. I think it's the bear market. I think it's getting there. I think people are getting stressed out. Frankly, I'm getting stressed out. And it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with people not being straight up and down. And I can't sit here and call people out anymore because, frankly, it's just the ROI is just stupid. I don't like it. I don't like that kind of content. I don't think it makes me look smart. I don't think it makes me look cool. I don't think it makes me look like a leader. So I don't like that.
I think having these conversations, both like today, but also the conversations that we have maybe around ETH or proof of work versus proof of stake. I think these are all conversations that like some people who are very maximalist focused, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not how I choose to be, or we chose to be on the show, to cover things that are just fucking interesting to us. We find different stuff interesting, and it's good to talk about that.
This is what I probably would be worried about, because Richard did allude to back in the day that, Bitcoin maximalists only want the price to go up because they have a lot of it. I find the same thing in Hex, frankly. I find the same thing. I was watching a video yesterday where Richard said the lion's share of Hex USD gains are by people that bought in the first year forever.
Oh, that's going to continue. Those people are going to be
it was forever. But he said that's normal. He was also alluding to that was normal. But then, someone else comes out with something. It's a different distribution method. You can't buy the bottom right away, and everyone cries about it, whines about it, says it's the worst thing ever. Doesn't look into anything, won't come on to stream, won't come on to do anything, won't answer my DMs, won't do anything. And it's just like, okay, well, then I'll just talk to Sam and Bullish, and I'll make this show so big as possible, and I'll make sure I say the most detailed. I will get the respect of so many people, and I will say the most detailed, nuanced, insightful things about every specific thing I know to be true. And I'll do it for the truth, and I'll do it for transparency, because the future is going to happen whether we like it or not. And if someone's tricking you into thinking it's going this way or that way or this way or that way, it don't matter. It's going. So I'm not going to be sitting on the sidelines pretending like I know what the future holds, because that's not crypto. That's not how it works. That's not innovation. That's not the time we're in crypto. We're in an innovation-filled time with men all over the world showing their stuff. And I will not be closed-minded, and I will not participate in something because some guy says the gas fee structure is fucked and the bots, and I'm out. Nope, not buying it.
Cool. There's a lot of smart people in the world. There's 8 billion people, and if somebody thinks that they're the best, then that is the downfall. That is the downfall, because there's so many people in the world. There are so many people in the world, and other people are working. Doesn't mean you shouldn't think of yourself as the best. Doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to always be the best and do as much as you possibly can. But that is the downfall on the one side of things. And I think that taking this approach where other shit sucks, like BNBP and what Jacob has put together, wow, that is awesome. The way that he structured that, very, very innovative.
Earning staking rewards from outside of the actual staking pool is something that's very interesting, because it happens very little. If people really understood that, they say, yes, Hex continues to compound. Of course it does. But the pool, in the liquidity pool, relies on other people. That's how you get out, right? So when you sell, you get out of the liquidity pool. And when this needs to have enough money in it, or all these numbers that are going up don't make much a difference. They're just cutting into dollar amount in here. This is what's important. You need this. You need the part where people can get out or there's no stability there. So as the more and more and more prints out from inside, yes, if people are buying and the price is going up, it's great. But, and it does hedge against some things because not everyone takes out at the same time. So it definitely makes the price go up and things function better. But at some point, like how lopsided, how many people were buying, how many people bought $100,000 on the first day? How many people bought 10 grand on the first day? How many people just bought $50? How many one of Richard's friends knew about this shit in the beginning? What if none of them knew about this shit in the beginning? There's a lot of factors that come into play, and that's where chain analysis becomes your only real play.
What do you think, nicely said, what do you think of buy and burn versus a dividend?
I just don't think I don't understand what a dividend is enough. So
because a dividend, think of like a dividend as you own BNBP and you have it staked and you get airdrops into your wallet every single month just by doing that.
Yeah, I like that because it adds value from outside the system.
And also, I don't know what your thoughts are, but think about buy and burn. The benefit that is more theoretical over time, right? What is the other benefit? It is immediate, right? People get these other tokens immediately, or this token, more of this token immediately. I think that there's that model. We're going to see a massive increase. I'm thinking, I have an idea. We've talked about this for another protocol. If you guys are interested, make sure. Hey, actually, if anybody's interested in code in Solidity, we're looking for a Solidity developer. You can reach out to Bullish or myself or Jimrat and maybe move things forward. But I think that model of being able to receive cash, receive these in your account, in your wallet, just by owning something is a really cool model. Maybe it's because I really like real estate and I like being able to have cash flow every single month. Cash flows coming in. That's what we live on. That's what we utilize to do things. And think about it from a demand standpoint, an adoption standpoint, right? There's buy and burn type shit all over crypto, right? But there's not many people that are doing, hey, the protocol goes up in value, the more people go up in the value, then...
Well, there needs to be like a reason, right? So like the gambling use case or like the games or whatever, it's like the reason that it comes in, right? Like it's that incentive structure to bring more in. And that's like when you're staking and just pulling out of an LP pool, it's kind of just like, this is what it is. But it's awesome, but really it just relies on more people buying and putting more money into the LP pool for the future projection to be proper. And but there's like insurance, right? Or things like this. I think I could develop an insurance protocol that the owners of the token are able to insure the risks of another party, and they get paid as a dividend, as cash, in terms of coins getting airdropped to their wallet. There's a way to do this in a way that takes... Insurance companies are massively profitable. I mean, it depends on the type of insurance, but maybe flood insurance companies down here in Florida not doing super well with a hurricane. But on average, insurance companies, especially life insurance companies or other companies like that, are massively profitable. That's why there's literally, dude, most companies in the S&P 500 churn, meaning they die out. The S&P 500 is the list of the 500 largest companies in the United States. And that list churns, meaning the companies, right? It's competitive. They drop off that list and they're not as big as anymore, or they go bankrupt. And that's around 50% of those over, I think, a 20 or 30 year period of time, which means it changes the whole list, not to like every, 40 years or 60 years. The list is completely different. Life insurance companies have been around for over 100 years because they're massively profitable. Now, think about this. And there's tax efficiency. I see crypto Milo, but think about what is the taxes? What's the tax inefficient?
Well, let's see what they say. Right?
Well, tax inefficient, yeah. But again, we're not talking about Pulsepot's not the store of value for the world.
Correct. Bro, there's two different things.
Yeah,
We're
just talking about a use case in crypto. There, me and all my friends and everyone that I've ever interacted with in this part of the city loves to gamble on the weekends during the day, in the middle of the day, and they get wrecked on everything. They have no idea. Because I was doing it like as hard as I could for like 2 years straight. I stopped completely. I don't do it anymore. But the point is, like, this actually makes things better. You actually don't waste your money giving it to middlemen.
Yes.
And you earn yield, and the token's extremely more expensive than it was at launch.
And think about this. What do you need? And I'm not saying this is an accurate statement, right? Capital gains, at least in the United States, are taxed lower than earned or like income, right? And dividends, I believe, are taxed as income when they're received. Unless it's a special type of dividend, then it can be termed long-term anyways. But on average, it's less efficient. But what do people need to live on? Cash. And that the ability to generate a $5,000 a month, there's 130 people in here, to be able to generate $5,000 a month, everybody in here could just live. They could just live off of their dividends from this protocol, and then they have a job. Their job is to grow that protocol.
I think people are going to be leveraging their crypto for down payments very shortly. Very shortly. And I think Alex from Hedron's going to have something to do with that. I have a video clip of Alex. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't even know I can't remember if it was private or if it was a YouTube video, but he said, I've actually already created everything but he won't like do anything with it because it's like it's a weird time. Like there's
and like your hunch on that is not like invalid because he has said on stream that he does work in the mortgage industry. Like this is what he does. So like he understands that industry intimately. So, you're not invalid in thinking, having that hunch.
Right. And I'm excited about the future. Once the housing market gets back, whether that's in a decade or whatever. I'm just kidding. I don't know enough but it doesn't look like as good as it did. It's moving downward a little bit. It's interesting to think how much. That's why I refuse to lower my coin count. I refuse. I'd rather go to 0 on my hex position than lower my coin count at this point. I really would. Because it's just like, if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, it's like, well, there's other things that work out and we have those too. So
when you mention coin count, I always think about the degeneracy that I was telling you about that I'm doing, charging a credit card to buy crypto. Now, as soon as I say this, I want to, tell everybody to not do that unless you're super comfortable with the risks involved. Like, don't do what I just said.
Is it safe to say you're a professional?
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I do.
Like you did all the hard tests, like the hardest tests.
Yeah. But don't say that too, because then people are going to be like, if I say something about Hedron, then
no, I know, but I'm saying like you have some professional ability to do things that other people are not supposed to be doing.
You are certified to understand financial markets and financial vehicles more than the average person.
1,000%.
Yeah, like I don't, and that's why I don't do that shit, frankly. Like, and he knows it. Like, he doesn't ask me to do this shit.
And you shouldn't. And we're friends.
Maybe in 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 1 year. I don't know, but I don't like to do it. It's just not my brain doesn't work on it good. So I'm like, it's a lot of energy.
And Bullish understands what I'm doing, and he's not doing the same thing. So I'm saying this
for real.
Right? Bullish understands what I'm doing. He's not doing that.
I'm not doing it.
Right. And it's not that he doesn't understand it. He chooses not to do it because it's not his style. Right?
And for for disclosure, like I do what he's doing, but I do it in real estate. He's just doing it. He's applying the same thing, but in crypto.
Yes. I apply zero leverage in my life, but like I always ask about it and I always talk to people about it. And then I just am like, oh no, I just will sit here for a little while because frankly, I'm probably more useful right now learning for me. Like, cause there's just a lot of little nuanced things like that I just am not, I refuse to get involved with until I know personally. It took me a while to get into V3 liquidity providing, and I was always about it, but it took me about 2 or 3 months. And now,
But Sam, go ahead. Share what you was going to say. Cause I'm always fascinated when you share.
Okay. So here, I just did this recently. There are credit card hacking. If you've never heard of credit card hacking and you want to go down that rabbit hole, go Google that. But you can get a credit card that say has $10,000 limit. And on that credit card, it says, if you spend $10,000 within the first 90 days, you get $1,500 of rebates, miles, rewards, whatever they want to call that, back, right? But you can, if you own your own business, you can take this credit card and you can charge your business. So on the one hand, Sam can go to my store and charge myself $10,000, right, to do this. So this is one of the benefits, meaning I have say $10,000, 3% is what, $300 or something like that of that amount. Well, that is the cost of doing that transaction. I'm spending $300, but I'm getting the $1,500. So I get $1,200 net. But what I'm effectively doing is creating a loan at 20% interest, right? Because that's what the credit card's charging. So now I've got this $10,000 minus the transaction fee, and I take this and I put it into crypto, into LP, because with that, as we were just talking about dividends, right? This is why I was talking about dividends, because the cash flow is very important. Where cash goes, that is very important to understand your cash flow, like as an individual, where you're spending money, where you're putting money, how money's leaving you, how you're getting money. You need to understand where the flow of cash is involved. And I can put this $10,000 into LP and I can generate $100 a day, but my payment on that is $150. So think about this. Once a month, I have to pay $150, but on the daily, I generate $100. Does that seem like a good trade? Just anybody who's like, do you want $3,000 or $150? Which one would you rather have? Right? I like the larger number.
Right, and you should, if you can handle that kind of money and that kind of leverage and that kind of understanding, it's just a little different. We are at the bottom in every single way of a bear market. Like, there could be downside, but the clock's ticking, whether people like it or not. 6 months, I just like, right around the probably time where I would say things will start turning around. And I think COVID-19 has a lot to do with that, frankly.
Right.
Like,
let me add to what Sam is saying to give you like the other side of it. Like everything he's saying is valid. Yeah, it works. Like if you do it the way he says it, it works. But like Sam knows, I would never do it. Why? It's too much to manage for me. I'd rather just not deal with managing that part. So it's not that, I'm against it. It's just like, you know what? Yeah, I'd just rather not deal with the managing of, this and this and this and this and that. So there's always multiple ways to attack and, make money, whether it's in real life or in crypto. It's all about, how creative you get and, how much risk you're willing to put on yourself.
Yep. And if you have to adjust your position, like some people just don't want to adjust their position. Bullish is in a spot in his life where the people that he loves and cares about, and maybe spending time with them and the other businesses that he's running is more important than like getting a little bit more over here in crypto or something. Then there's like a million different paths to this. A lot of people don't like any leverage. Perfect. That's
who wants a little bit of LP gold? I'll give one nugget of LP gold just because someone asked. I was going to say no because I don't like to tell anyone anything, but like, I'll give a little one, but it's a good one. So if you go to Ethereum PAL and you go on Uniswap V3, you can see that in the last hour, for example, I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to pull it up because it's quick. Hex and Hedron have swapped between each other 8 times in the last hour. So like Hex and Hedron have swapped in between each other on ETH PAL 8 times in the last hour, but those assets generally move together. But people haven't really caught up on ETH PAL yet. So they still love swapping that ratio. But in general, if you look at it, they move pretty much similar, maybe like an hour or an hour and a half behind. So you can get a lot of trades with really little volatility as far as if you like those two assets anyway, which I do. And I have a S load of them. So it's like, I like the Hedron Hex pair ETH PAL, and I like the Hex W ETH pair on ETH PAL, which has 42 trades in the last hour. And let's see in the last hour on Fair, for example, we have Hex and Hedron on Fair have traded 26 times in the last hour. Hex and WETH on Fair have traded 80 times in the last hour. On PAL, we have Sam. So Fair is now trading more per hour Hex WETH than POW.
Interesting.
Yep.
What about
that's
Hedron?
something I've been observing slowly over time. The transaction volume is going up on Fair versus on POW dramatically. Like right now on Fair, there's been 509 total transactions in the last hour. And on POW, there's been 1,141. So it's climbing a little bit on that, where before it was more to a 3-to-1, 4-to-1. POW is losing a little steam, Fair gaining a little steam as far as I see volume wise. So that's where I'm looking, because I bought all those assets right when they came out for LP.
Put this into context, because I've been tracking this data we don't need to go over here, but this data here, right? This is transactions over the last 24 hours from October 1st, right? And it's not doing it every day, as you can see here, right? But the Ethereum 2.0 ETHW is still dominating in terms of transactions relative to ETH. So we're seeing a surge in trading volume for Hex.
And I think there's decisions being made by Hexicans, a few that I don't know their names or who they are, but I kind of know this sentiment and how it works. And I know a couple guys that support mining, and I know a couple guys that don't really believe things are turning out the way that maybe they anticipated when it comes to proof of stake. And those miners say on that hardware, it's churning, you know what I mean? And I think a Fair is coming to be doing a little bit more reputation wise, a little bit. And we're seeing that on the thing. And Ethereum's volume is only going down. All right, let me read this. We reached another sad milestone in censorship, 51%. This means if you are censoring validators would now stop attesting to non-censoring blocks, they will eventually form the canonical. What the fuck does that word mean? How have I never ran into that word before?
I don't know. I've never.
Canonical. Can someone give us the definition of canonical? 100% censoring, 100% censoring chain. Can someone tell me what this means? Because my brain is broken.
CANONICAL. According to or ordered by canon law, that's Roman Church, I guess, or something, included in the list of sacred books officially accepted as genuine. I have no idea what the fuck
it sounds like it's like religiously like bound to be censored, like kind of vibes. But the OFAC, do you know what this is, Bullish? I have no fucking clue.
OFAC. It's Bullish, you're muted. It's
sorry,
OFAC.
this is basically the chart for ETH 2.0 after the merge, and how most of the blocks are compliant now. So yeah, pretty much the government has a deep pockets into ETH 2.0, and given what the topic was today,
is that good?
I think forking it is a good thing.
Good. Well, I hope it all works out. But again, I've had so much like negative vibes like from people that I've been trying to I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. And everyone's saying a million things. So I'm just buying cryptos and LPing my little butt off. But yeah, no, I hope I'm going to be a little more detailed as the week comes on, guys. I had a rough weekend, like a lot's going on, and I just needs to chill a little bit. What up?
This is the last thought here, and then we'll jump off. Okay, so Gonzo, OG, Sam, if PulseX incentive token had a 2% tax in and out that was used to place a limit order, it would maintain its price better than 99% of reward tokens. Better idea, because I don't like taxes, right? I think a much better idea, instead of, if I was designing it, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, if I was designing it, I have enough money and I know how to work the system better than 99% of people. So I would be like, I don't need to collect fees like Richard Hart is going to collect fees from the system. What if I took those fees and I gave them to the incentive tokens, right? Then the incentive token actually has a reason to stay up, a reason for people to hold it instead of dumping it, right? But that's not how it's going to work. But reading that comment, thank you for that comment, what made me think of it.
And just remember, guys, people buy when it's bull market time, dude, people are going to buy and they're not going to sell that much. So just remember, if you want money and you have a large portion, taking 10% out and just putting it in cash and just moving on with your life. Not always a horrible move if you made a good ass gain on it. But don't be taking your shit out at the bottom like a pleb. That's pleb shit. Don't do it. Go to zero on it if you really believe in that shit and you think it's great. Don't start milking it out, because that's kind of like the only thing holding it together is community consensus and like leadership and immutable code. I'm not telling you which chain though. You can get out of my face about all the Zen stuff. I can't be talking about my Zen LP pools yet, because it's very strategic and it's complicated, and I've been looking at this shit for 4 months. So it's not like, what am I going to start brainstorming a bunch of stuff that I don't have the underlying nuance. Nobody wants to know about the distribution method. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear about you can't buy the bottom on the first day, and that's why I like it. When other things come out, you can buy the bottom. If, let's say Sam has $5 million USD and he's just new to crypto and he's like, I want to spend $1 million. I'm like, dude, luckily Pulsechain just come out and the trading just went up. There, you can buy 900 million for 30 grand. And you're like, fuck it, I'll put $1 million in over the next year. And then you now can dump for the rest of your life. And you will slowly. And you hopefully you LP and are a nice, cool, smart, emotionally fit person. And you don't like just Godwick, because that's really not helpful to anyone. But the truth is, early adopters make most of the gains. Buying low liquidity assets with product market fit early, you make the most gains. Richard taught me that verbatim, word for word, 20,000 times. And I watched it 10 times each. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't need all the hexagons to tell me to stake and bake for the next 40 years. Richard was a billionaire before he ever launched this shit, because Richard is bought Bitcoin, hoarded at the bottom, Ethereum, hoarded at the bottom. And now he's had whale in 3 chains. So like, if you want to be rich like Richard, I guess, I don't know how rich. So it's kind of like a weird number, but like, that's not really everyone's goal, is like $5 billion. Like Sam, like, come on, like, it's not everyone's, it's just a lot. It's a lot for Richard too. Truthfully, responsibility, you gotta be a leader. You gotta step up. You can't have kids probably, because it's like all this shit.
Now you need security everywhere.
You gotta have security. You can't chill with your bros.
I tell you guys all the time how I live in real life.
Yeah,
no one knows my net worth.
No, me neither.
I'm a broke pleb when I walk out my house, purposely.
I'm a broke.
He just happens to be walking out of a mansion. That's all. No, nobody says that though. Just kidding.
Yeah, but I tell people the same thing. Whether if they think having $100,000 is rich or poor, maybe I got that. You think $1 million's rich or poor? Maybe I got that. You think $1 grand's rich or poor? Maybe I got that. I don't fucking know.
I got humbled a long time ago. I thought I was good until I met a guy who owns many of the top restaurants in New York City, and he's walking around in dirty jeans and holes in his shirt, driving around a fucking Honda Accord. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, so we're not going to sit here and like bull crap and just say like Richard's perfect, but we're not also going to sit here and like slander and say like, oh no, things are going to zero. It's like, no, it's all speculative buying pressure that we all kind of have a little hunch on. But you do have to survive the game. If you're not in the game, you're out. You're out. You're in a different game. So 30K only gets you 300 million PulseX. Well, Jesus Lord, I have a lot of PulseX, so this will be interesting.
I'm excited for you because you're in on Pulse, right? You're in on Pulse or PulseX. You're in both of them.
I sacrificed the same amount for both, roughly, but I got a better multiplier on the PulseX by like a fuck ton. So, but the same amount of USD, roughly.
So when it launches, I do think it will launch.
Yeah, if that number is true, I'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I would have to see how. I don't believe the numbers unless I looked.
Correct. And I think it would be much higher than that number, the hundreds of thousands. But it will be interesting because if there's 100x on there or 1,000x over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, I mean, if somebody hypothetically put in $1,000 that has 1,000x, there's another.
But again, that's the thing. This is an active market. All my friends put in 150 grand. All my friends, or not all of them, of course, but like some of the guys in Hex, like, God, these are sharp. They know what's going on, and they're not going to tell you the dirty details about what they're doing. So just take it as an opportunity to learn. Like, I'm not going to slander. I think I like when people make money. It's cool. It means they're smart, and I could learn something from them. But at the same time, it's like I don't like to take advice from many people, and I don't really trust many people or believe many people when it comes to the goals that I have. There's only a select few that I'm willing to focus on. And that's why I don't hate Richard at all. Like, he's literally changed my life forever. And now I have nothing to do except learn and have money and safety with my security and everything, whether that was on him or a collective of the community and everyone helping me. It's like, I'm cool now, man. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy I learned.
Yes, I think this has been a good show, bro. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. I know I did, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow's show. We have some really good stuff to cover. We're not going to tell you what it is yet. We're
going to get serious this week, guys. Everyone have an amazing day. Crypto in the Morning live every single day. Hey, if anything cool comes on, I will hop on live. Everyone having a great day. Bullish, you got anything before we go?
2 things. Tomorrow we have this.
Got me some metal, got me a couple. Got a new thing. I keep checking on the tab for that splashes. You need swap, we don't fuck with that. Don't let me get started on the. All I did was get this rep. Hear that BUSD into some drip. Used to be in the block with my dogs, yeah, just ducking these pigs. I'm in the farm, and I'm balling ETH. Getting on elephant to collect fees, collecting chunk and I'm making a tree. Stepping it down.
And Tuesday we have this. That's all from my end.
Yeah, that's lit.
Thank you.
I'm excited for everything with the games. I'm excited to kick back and enjoy some time. And guys, if you don't like that I'm talking about other stuff, please just get the hell away from me and just go.
Yeah,
away.
we're excited about actually owning the casino. So like, we're
I'm
playing some games, but it's the launch. We're trying to, pump our bags, get more people into the system, get this content out there for the people who are going to gamble anyway. Like, yeah, you're going to see me gambling on Tuesday, but after that, you're not going to see me gambling much on it. I'm going to stake all my coins.
Yeah, I'm not a gambler, guys. Let's cut to the chase. I have crypto stuff to look at now, but I do love owning portions of things that people use a lot.
Yeah. We're going to have sports gambling, in a couple of months. There's more table games coming out. Probably, for anyone who hasn't looked into it, you can actually own the tables. The tables constantly go on sale. Just recently, there was one that went on sale. There was a steal compared to the last one. The one prior to this sold for $50,000. The last one just sold a little bit over $5,000, and you own the table and earn the fees that the table makes as long as you hold the NFT. So, like, it's about ownership here. And this is like true DeFi. So, I'm bullish on that part. That's why I like BNBP.
And I'm a huge sports fan, guys. Like, I don't watch sports like I used to, obviously, but I really spent 2 years of my life studying sports gambling just as hard as I have studied this stuff. And I do enjoy the numbers. I'm not going to play with anyone. The numbers and the guessing and the learning and the ratios, they're really fun. And I'm frankly pretty good at it, but not anything special. But I love to talk about it. I like to talk about it. Like, I don't want to gamble, though. I don't like gambling because I don't like that stress that it creates in my stomach. So I like to be free, but I also like talking sports. So in the future, once Crypto in the Morning finally merges with the UFC, we'll be getting all those dollar bills.
And another thing, just because I know we have a lot of new people here. BNBP is AKA PulsePot, which was originally intended to launch on Pulsechain. So because of the delays and stuff like that, they decided to launch it on other chains. and then it's gonna launch on a few other ones after that. So at the end of the day, all this marketing and promotion and and activity that's gonna go on prior to Pulsechain launching, that audience is gonna go right over to Pulsechain. So at the end of the day, it's a net positive for it.
Yeah, and everything, guys, there's going to be fun on everything. Do what you like. Do what you enjoy. I'm not a zombie. I never have been. I never will be. I'm not listening to a bunch of men that don't have their way with the world that they want, but everyone has their skills, like everyone has their stuff. It's like, I'm not going to teach you how to clean your bathroom. I'm just not. I don't know how to do it right. Someone usually does it for me. I just don't like, you know what I mean? But some people are good at cleaning. Some people are also good at cooking dinner. No, I am not good at cooking dinner. I like cooking chicken and I forget the butter every time and it sticks to the pan. And again, guys, if anyone in here has problems with sports gambling, you can reach out to me. If you actually reach out to me and say like, listen, I had to quit sports gambling too. I know how hard it is. I was so in deep. I lost a girlfriend that was awesome over it. I lost a lot of stuff. And when I say lost, I mean like I was just preoccupied. And I don't agree with it as an ethos of your life. I think you should enjoy these things sparingly, but they can be enjoyable if you actually do them sparingly. But nobody wants to do it sparingly. But in this case, you can just own a lot of the casino, which benefits everything. And they, of course, participate, learn, and maybe one day something will pop up or your favorite team will play or whatever. So guys, just be safe. And if you have problems with gambling and addiction, just know that that's like, I'm A1, number one, know all that stuff. I did the whole rehab shit when I was young. I've had trouble with drugs in my life. I've had all of that stuff. And I quit for years and years. I never did a drink. I never did a drug. I would go and, maybe my life's not exactly like that now, but I am not bound by chemicals anymore like I was before. Now it's more just like whatever. I just talk to my friends, try to be safe. So anyway, guys, have an amazing day. Talk to everyone soon. Be safe, be healthy, safe Sunday. Watch some football. Go call your mama. Bye-bye, guys.
Peace out.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way.